if this is a partnership, and we're together every day,
Yeah.
then in some capacity it should be, I don't want to say equal, but near to it. Because it's going to be some type of balance.
Hi guys, welcome to Pivot to Profit with Priscilla. Today we're back to have a good old conversation about spouses and business, and Copeland's back.
Hello, everyone.
So I saw something the other day where the question was posed to a group of guys about how long they can be on vacation with their spouse. And the consensus was like 3 to 4 days max.
What?
Yeah. And it surprised me because we're together all day.
3 to 4 days, that's it?
Max.
So you mean the husband with the wife?
Yeah. He said he couldn't, they said they couldn't be around her longer than.
And how did she felt the same way?
It was guys.
Okay. Got it.
So like we're together all day. We wake up together.
Yes.
We work together.
Yes.
We
Sorry.
All day. So we have had to learn how to, I don't want to say deal with each other, but how to work with each other, like in partnership.
Yep.
And I think it started in our marriage because we established early on in the marriage what we were good at. I cooked to sustain life in my household.
When
I was single.
Got it.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'll cook now. We all know that. But it was sustenance that I was crock pot.
I was gonna say, you make a mean crock pot.
And still do.
Yeah,
you threw away my crock pot. But anyways, that's what I did. I worked full time. I went to school. I had 2 kids. I didn't have time to master meals. So I put it in a crock pot. I set it, forget it, went to work, came back. We had a meal. So when I met you, our first date was...
I cooked you a Mongolian beef?
Yeah. You came over and you cooked for me.
Yeah.
And from then on, no.
She was like, oh my goodness.
But I established early on, I can cook. I don't like to cook.
Right. You did say that though.
Yeah.
You did say it.
So there's a dynamic in our relationship where he does things that I just hate to do. And I do the things, I set all the dental appointments. I set all the doctor's appointments. I, set the kids' school schedule. I hate cleaning the bathroom. You clean the bathroom.
Clean the bathrooms, take care of the house.
You do laundry,
all the physical stuff.
So we made that challenge, but we also understood that sometimes we had to cross roles.
Yeah.
You fix everything in the house. And then we took on the task of renovating our bathroom. And I got to lay tile and put in a sink, and then we renovated our kitchen ourselves.
Yeah.
And I got to help you put in the dishwasher. So in our business, we struggled with that a little bit. In the beginning, the pediatric business or
I
think somewhere in the middle when you transition from work to full-time being in the business. I remember days when you'd be like, I don't see how you sit at this computer all day.
Yeah. I mean, I
can't do this. Like, I don't see how you sit here all day and do this stuff. And I'm just like, this is work for me.
Right.
My work is done on a computer or on my phone, and you had just came from a job where
it was physical. Everything was physical.
Things. You worked in the rain. You worked in the snow. You put tires on airplanes. You did that stuff.
Yeah, it's physical. It's a physical work, a physical job. And, I did, some typing, a lot of writing.
Yeah.
But I think in our roles, like, one, like, you got to learn to like choose your battles, kind of. And I think it's a conversation that we've had, like, well, I don't want to say a conversation, but what we're good at. Like, we just we don't cross the streams. Like, we just you good at what you do and I'm good at what I do. It took me a while to understand that, like, what you're doing over there, I don't have to be. I don't have to do that. I don't have to be great at that. And honestly, for me, it took me a while to understand that. Like, I don't have to do what you do.
But I
Does
think
that
that
make
came
sense?
from it does, even though you've cross-trained in understanding what I did,
Yes.
but for a while, you were like, "I wish I understood Excel like that.
Yeah. I would
I
be hard
wish
on
I"
myself.
yeah, and to me, that was just like, "No, we're not gonna do that." Like,
And that was the talk, really.
yeah, I don't understand a lot of the things you do, and I'm
Hmm.
not gonna beat myself up for it. Now,
Right.
I could come sit and say, "Hey, I wanna understand how to do that."
Hmm.
And you kinda had to get to the place because at one point, ooh, something that used to really make me mad, where you'd just be like, I don't do that stuff. I don't understand that stuff. I don't do that." And I'm just like,
Yeah. But I think
"No."
that was more like when I just got out of
And
work,
yeah,
and I
that
could
was early on.
like now I don't
The
like.
mentality's changed.
Yes, because I see that you need help, or I
Yeah,
see that you need help in the businesses, and I have expanded my mind and be open to it instead of being closed off to it.
yeah,
And so I don't want to be a burden or like allow you to
yeah,
take on all the work
yeah,
when if this is a partnership, and we're together every day,
yeah.
then in some capacity it should be, I don't want to say equal, but near to it, because
Balance.
it's going to be some type of balance, but
Mhm.
it's not going to be, we share the load when it comes to
Everything.
everything,
We try to.
everything, I'm okay with that, and you
Um,
got to be okay with it. Some people,
I think you had a moment. One thing that I really tried to do, I feel like I'm good at pointing out things in people that they're good at. I do it with the kids. I'm like,
hmm
"Hey, I've been watching you. You like this, you're good at it. I think this is a career field for you." So, like, for me, I had to figure out a way to, like, help you transition
hmm
by pointing out the things outside of, like, manual labor that you were good at. So, I watched you transition from work. I watched you I watch you research recipes all day.
I
Like,
like cooking.
your social media feed is full of recipes and cooking and new recipes and just ways you can switch it up. I see you peeling lemons and adding lemon zest. You try new sauces. And I say, man, like, if I could get that level of research in my business,
Mhm.
like, there's nowhere like we couldn't go.
And when you said that to me, I had to sit there, and think about it. I have to ponder on it a little bit. Just have to sit on it.
It takes you a
It
bit,
takes my
which is
soul,
another thing I've learned. I try not to be the nagging
and
wife, so
and I change.
I gotta set it on you and let you.
Yeah, and I think about it like, all I gotta do is just hone in on that one thing and learn it. Like,
Yeah,
why can't you do the same thing? She's right. Like, she is totally right. So that's what I started doing.
you did.
And I learned, and you know what? In the process, I learned something new. It makes me more confident in who I am and where I am at in the businesses. And I feel good.
You found me websites where we could, like, I remember one day, like, you looked at my computer screen and I had 17 tabs open and you were like, "I don't know how you work like this." And then you came back and you're like, "I found this new website and you could put all your tabs in one window." And it's so helpful
Yeah.
because I have to focus on how to get it done.
hmm
And then for you to kind of come over my shoulder and research efficiency and better ways of doing things, it's just the ultimate team. So helping you navigate where you can fit in and where you can be helpful. Because I think for a long time you wanted to be helpful, you just didn't know where.
Yeah, try to double that chin like with a
Yeah.
triple rope. It's
So I had to give some grace and patience and
right.
say, "Hey, you
And I
might have to take a
appreciate
step
it.
back
I
and
really
and
appreciate
just
it.
help him figure out, navigate how to get in there and help." And it was very beneficial
Yes.
for the business.
So how do we get here? Um, so we're gonna go back a little bit. Uh, as Priscilla and I, basically, when we started this, a couple years ago, way back before we got married, we decided with our pastor or bishop to do a radical love class, and it was like a 6 month class to help us understand us as a couple, uh,
Marriage.
our marriage. So every month, they give you a booklet, and we would have to meet up with other couples, and we would talk about basically like it had like a foundational, like learning about each other, like things about myself and things about Priscilla, and then discussing those things. And I mean, it was like money, families,
Childhood.
childhood,
Mhm.
talked about all of these factors, all of these things in this radical love class that make up the person, and then basically blending those together and
Yeah, I think it helped us create a foundation
foundation, like
for
set
our
the
marriage.
foundation.
And I think the next thing we did took a few years, but we started counseling. We started individual counseling,
Yep.
and then we started couples counseling. And what that individual counseling allowed us to do was separately process our childhood experiences
Yep.
up to, because we both were previously married, up to us meeting. So had we not been able to identify and comprehend our triggers, our trauma,
Trauma.
our
Yep.
experiences before we come together, prior to the counseling, we did the radical love, but we experienced challenges. We argued, we
Yeah.
yelled at each other. Our arguing style was different.
Yep.
It was just, we couldn't figure out how to mesh it. And then we did individual counseling. We figured out what those triggers were, and now we do couples counseling continuously. And our counseling isn't a 6-month thing. Like,
No,
it's a
it's
lifelong
yeah, it's a
commitment.
lifelong deal.
We don't think for one second that you can fix 20 years of trauma,
Or 49.
yeah, in a couple months.
Yeah.
So we've committed to counseling for the reason that things come up in life.
Yep.
We're now dealing with cancer.
Cancer.
And that's a whole new counseling session, like that's going to take us through the year. We had to deal with meshing our business and him going from an employee to a business owner. And we
Yes.
discussed that in counseling.
Our kids, prior kids,
Like
it just everything.
our parents getting older and taking on those responsibilities. Life is going to throw you curveballs. And because we have counseling to go to as a couple and
Therapy.
voice
Yep.
our grievances, we deal with them better. So, one thing that I feel like counseling gave me, and you've also helped me with, is patience. So, one, by understanding who you are. Okay, so let me say, my trauma in past relationships made me controlling. It made me untrusting,
Yes.
and it just, soon as you say something I don't like, I'm throwing up a wall.
And she was triggered.
Me and my kids can go and I can do it myself. And he made it clear, okay, that alone is a trigger for me. You deciding to pack up and leave every time I make you upset is not going to work for me. Um, that triggers my abandonment issues. So now understanding the things that trigger him, I got to pull back. And counseling helped me understand that just because you're mad at him, it doesn't mean he wants to abandon you. It doesn't mean he's not going to support you. So stop throwing that at him every chance you got. So in the business, I'm now frustrated. I've taken on the weight of this business because he's working. He can't help me. It's not because he doesn't want to help me. It's he's working. So he's coming home, he's trying to help, and I don't know how to tell him to help me. So now I'm frustrated.
Yes.
And now I'm
Plenty of
pushing
those
him
nights.
away. I got it. I don't need help. I got it. And it's just like, no, you got to let him in. So our counselor basically talks me through, how can you let him in?
Mhm.
How can you allow him to help? You need to take down that wall. And that's been very helpful for me in business.
Um, I see like the therapy for me is understanding my traumas as far as I don't want to say much so much as abandonment issues, but just in my past, I was abused as a child. And so it made me angry, and it made me do a lot of things that I just didn't think that was, like hide money and just trauma, like just person, trauma to the person. And my therapist basically helped me, you know, find the cause and then have a resolution to it by talking it out. Instead of being angry, if it comes to the point where you're angry, leave the room. Tell the person, "Hey, I need space. I need time for myself to think this over so things can calm down. So you're not redlining and taking it all out on your partner." And that's even goes as far as the relationship and the businesses. You know, and it's talking about other things that's happened in my life, and dealing with that. I'm kind of skewing here thinking about it, but
I think we find a lot of ways to communicate. And I think that's where you're kind of getting at. She helped us communicate in a
it,
way that was more patient and kind.
yes, communication is really the big key.
Yeah,
I think as far as like when it comes to us, we take the time to talk it out. Like we literally
everything.
like stop, dead stop everything, and this has to be put on the floor
Yeah,
so we both can have our grievances. I say my side, but I have to allow her to say her side too. And sometimes I have a problem and I'm just going to be transparent. I cut my wife off. And that's just one of those bad habits that I picked up in prior relationships and just how I grew up. And so I'm learning to allow my wife to have that space to let her talk, let her have the floor and not just take it over. Um Still have tendencies, but I'm working on it. I'm not perfect.
I'm
Um
proud of you, Grant. I didn't know
huh?
you was gonna say that.
What?
About the whole like cutting me off thing. It's been a big,
It's
it
been a
feels
big
like my
thing, and
voice
then
is being
it's
taken.
a trigger for you. It's a trigger. It bothers me. It no, it no, no. It my honesty. It bothers me when I know something bothers you.
Yeah.
Whether it be the kids, the businesses, anything. Like I'm ready to fight. But when I know it's something that I did
Yeah.
personally to you,
Yeah.
cutting you off and not allowing you to have that space, that's wrong with me. And I tell you that I'll be like, I'm dead wrong. I got to work on that, and I'm trying, and I have to talk to my therapist and be like, "Hey, I did this the other day, and I don't understand why I did it. Help me with this." And we work it out. We talk it out.
We do.
Yep,
So I think one of the biggest ways we've gotten to this balance, not just in our relationship, but in our business, is therapy.
therapy.
We talk to our therapist about
Yes,
business,
everything. But
right?
everything. We talk to her about
Goals,
everything.
even like our
Our goal.
plans
Yep,
for what we want to do next, and getting us emotionally ready for that next phase.
yep.
And it's work.
And it's work, and it really it's rounded me out as a person. Like I see like all the facets. When I only like kind of just saw it one way, it's opened my mind and my eyes to how I look and traverse the world.
Yeah.
And so it's really helped not just me. It's helped my wife. It's helped
Yeah.
us as a partnership.
So just like no relationship is perfect, because ours definitely isn't. No business, no family is going to be perfect. But I do feel like, as a bit of advice, therapy should not just be incorporated personally, but in your business, whether you're married or not.
Yes. Mental health.
There there like I said, we still do individual sessions sometimes.
Yep.
And there's things in my business that I don't understand why I do, why I'm not capable of, why I don't believe in myself, and I have those conversations. So, incorporate therapy in your business. It could definitely be beneficial in the long run. So, again, like, I really hope that something we've said has sparked an idea or something in you to help with your business and help grow you to be successful. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for what we have next.